there are lots of things that come up in our minds. It has an incredible amount of connotations. In fact, some people can't even get into the room and come to the workshop because it's such a powerful word, brings up so much stuff, and either we want to go towards it, toward our freedom, or we want to back away and don't talk to me about forgiveness, right? So it kind of depends on where we're at inside, but it also really depends on, well, what do we mean by the word? And so for the people who haven't read Radical Forgiveness, I'm just going to go over very briefly the differences between what we call traditional forgiveness and then what is this radical or ecstatic or expanded forgiveness that's possible. Also the forgiveness taught in Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian version, and also of Course in Miracles. They're all very complementary. So when we talk about the traditional kind, what do you think of? Now, if you've already read the book, don't skip over to just pretend you've never read the book. Right? What do you think of in terms of what's necessary for traditional forgiveness? What do we think of when we say that word? What comes to mind?
The person needs to tell me they're sorry, and then maybe I'll consider.
So apology is in the mix. Apology is in the mix. It may or may not be required, but for a lot of people it is required. In fact, I went to South Africa not too long ago, and I talked with an incredible man who had been part of the South African struggle for 30 years, incredibly dedicated, wise being. And I said to him, how do you feel about forgiveness? This is a South African black man, how do you feel about apartheid and forgiveness? And he said, oh, I'm ready to forgive as soon as I get an apology. Exactly what Paige has said. And I pressed him on it, and he stuck to it, and that's his business. However, there are a lot of problems with that, which we can kind of take a little mini detour into right now, just so your mind can get clear on it. If we're waiting for an apology, what does that do?
We hold on to what's been done.
Right. We're held hostage in somebody else's time frame. Right? What if that person is dead? What if that person is waiting for an apology from you? Complete deadlock. What if you get an apology and you don't like it? It's not good enough. Then what? There's all kinds of problems with waiting for an apology. However, that is kind of in the mix when we think about it in traditional forgiveness, right? Well, that person did something wrong. Therefore, that person should apologize to me. It's sort of how it goes, right? And then we get, well, maybe I'll forgive. So there's something wrong happened. And what I do for shorthand, I call this the crime. It could be the little crime, could be a massive crime, but some kind of crime, something wrong happened, and therefore the idea of forgiveness would even arise. Without the crime, there's no forgiveness, right? So it's foundational that there is a crime. And it can be an icy stare, a silent treatment, or it could be a full-on murder or a rape. All of those things, it's a vast spectrum of what that could be. And in all of our lives now, we're old enough to see that we've been around for a while, and we see that even there are patterns of the types of crimes that have come into our lives and that we're here to really work with and to heal.